book has been a work in progress since about since January of 2006. It took about 4 months to plan it out. It was a bear. There were so many different things to reconcile. Everything from what's going to be in the game, content implications, game design implications, reconciling that with old fiction, deciding who our target audience was going to be. Obviously, it's you guys, but the goal of this book, its purpose, is to show the rest of the world what EVE is. And we can't think of a better way to do that than by going after the general science fiction market specifically. We believe, even if they're not gamers, that EVE has something to offer them. And if they like what they've read at the end of this book, they're invited to obviously become a part of it. The book is going to deal mostly with the NPC world. And the biggest question that comes up is just why not have a book about the players themselves? Because EVE is really a story about players. It's a story about their universe. It is the sandbox. We just throw tools in there and then try to stay out of the way. The answer is because as a writer you have to have control. I mean, you have to be able to, there were enough things to reconcile coming up with a plot that everyone could ascribe to. If you're writing stories about events that players have done, you're a reporter and not a writer, and that's really all the difference in the world. The tools are out there for players to make their own stories. They're more than welcome to tell any story that they like in any fashion that they want. But for this book, we thought that the best way to go forward was to just deal with the NPC world that's there and can't be ignored since it's a part of the game right now. So, a little disclaimer here before I start reading you an excerpt from this. I cannot pronounce half the words in my own vocabulary. I'm going to do the best I can to read this. Diction was just not one of my fortes. I lack the motor skills to speak English barely, certainly not French or Icelandic. And I'll take it this is chapter 13. This is the scene where this particular part of the story takes place. This is the Genesis region, Sanctum Constellation, the Uli system, Planet 9, Concord Bureau Station. Far from the Armor Forge in the Caldari territories at the political junction of New Eden, the newly appointed Mimitar ambassador Kaiton Yun took a moment to review his notes before approaching the podium. The Concord Assembly, long the bastion of international diplomacy and protectorate of interstellar travel, was about to convene for a general session. Ambassadors representing each nation-state took their designated seats within a vast spherical amphitheater suspended inside the main hub of the station, an architectural masterpiece symbolic of diplomacy's place at the center of all civil affairs. From the massive, glimmering central sphere spread the 5 major arms of the station, 4 of which were designated to the Galente Federation, Caldari State, Mimitar Republic, and the Amar Empire. The last arm, extending apart from all the others, belonged to the Jove Empire, which had not sent a representative to an assembly session in decades. Behind each ambassador were thousands of seats, but today a much smaller contingency of spectators were present. Regional governors, businessmen, union officials, and others with a vested interest in international affairs chatted with each other in hushed tones, taking care to not let their voices carry to their political enemies inside. Glancing upwards, Kaiton took note of the Amarian ambassador Larrick Saul, who appeared wholly disinterested and indifferent to his surroundings. Typical arrogance, Kaiton thought. So many others have failed to convince them. Why should my attempt to be any different? Session will now commence, announced the Concord session moderator. Ambassador Yun, you may begin your introductory address before we proceed with the day's agenda. Congratulations on your appointment. Rising to his feet amidst polite applause that primarily came from the Mimitar and Galentian sections of the audience, Kaiton cleared his throat. Thank you, Your Honor. It is a privilege and a lifelong dream of mine to be speaking here at the cornerstone of our civilization and on behalf of my beloved republic, to whom I owe my origins and my soul. All of the assembly members nodded approvingly, except for Ambassador Saul.